So this is entry number 2 in my video blog. I am driving Amish today in Northeast Ohio. It's a very yucky, rainy, cold day. Staying in the van most of the day and in coffee shops the other part of the day. All I can really think about today is, besides the fact that it's yucky, is what's on my mind is chocolate, which is pretty normal for me. I think about chocolate a lot, which is awful. Specifically bittersweet or semi-sweet chocolate chips. They're my favorite. And my favorite snack of all time is a spoonful of peanut butter submerged in chocolate chips so they stick all over it, and then I eat it and I drink a cup of milk. Probably totally unhealthy for you, but it's like my favorite. So we have to have chocolate chips in our house like 100% of the time. Anyway, I was thinking about like chocolate chips and I wonder how they're made, and which is weird, like how are they different than other chocolate, because they taste so much better. I think it's because they're not too sweet. Like for me, I like them that way. But I was thinking about how life's kind of like that, like it's semi-sweet or bittersweet. Like you have the good, you have the sweet, and you have parts that are like not sweet and they're kind of bitter. And I think we're all dealt that, like every single person, you know. And I know that there's some people that they definitely have a lot more junk happen to them. It's like they're always dealt a bad card. I actually know someone that just seems like that, like always dealt a bad card. And there's other people that are always dealt like the best, like they always get the prize at the baby shower, you know, like every single time their name is called. It's like, how do I get to be that person who is so lucky, you know? Like if they entered in the lottery, or I don't know anything about the lottery, I've never done the lottery, but you know that if they went and bought a lottery ticket, that they would be the ones who would win, because that's just the kind of person they are. But I think in reality, I think I've learned this a lot this week, because I always thought I was a super positive person, but I realized I kind of just was dealt probably more of a positive card. Like positive things just seem to happen to me a lot. But I think in reality we all have the good and the bad. Like we all are dealt bittersweet stuff. Like sometimes it's good, sometimes it's sweet. And really whether we're a positive, negative person, it depends on like what we choose to focus on. Like if we choose to focus on the positive or we choose to focus on the negative. And it doesn't matter what we dealt, like that's what we see all the time. And I always thought I was super positive, but you know, lately it seems like not so positive things have happened. And like I wonder if I really have been a positive person all this time. Like, you know what I mean? Elvis Presley, I looked up a few quotes this morning. Elvis Presley said, "When things go wrong, don't go with them." Like, I feel like that's not true. Like, you can't literally choose to not go with bad things. Sometimes you have to walk that direction. But I feel like what you can choose is how you think about the thing. Like, or what you focus on. Maybe you focus on other things. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you can comment below if you feel like that's not accurate. But another quote that I found 2 more, but another quote that I really liked that I found was by Helen Keller, and she said, "Keep your face to the sunshine, you can't see the shadows." And what I think she means by that is kind of what I've been saying, is that sometimes you just have to focus on it. You get to pick what you look at. You get to pick what you see. And everything around you, you know, you may have images of all kinds of things, but you get to pick if you're going to look in one direction or not. Another quote, the last quote, is, "Staying positive doesn't mean things will always turn out okay, rather knowing you will be okay no matter what happens." I feel like that is significant for me. Like, if I am going to choose to be positive, it means that I need to choose to know that I'm going to be okay no matter what happens around me, which is hard. Like, sometimes you just feel like it's not going to be okay. And I feel like maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like the only way I can confidently know that I'm going to be okay is knowing and believing in Jesus Christ, and knowing and believing that I'll be with him one day in heaven. And in the end, you know, no matter what happens in life here, I'm going to be okay. Even if I'm not okay here in life, which that sounds so dramatic, because life is really not that bad for me at all. But like on a really, really bad day, like I can't just like concoct this like really great ending to the day. I have to focus on the end picture. Because you know what? Sometimes there's not a good end to your day or your situation. And you can't make up the positive in your mind. Like, you can think positively all the time. And obviously we don't want to have the worst scenario in our mind all the time. Like, I know someone who is constantly bad things. Oh, this happened today, and this happened today, and this person's doing this again, and da 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 da. It's always negative, and it makes me want to pull my hair out. But we can be positive. We can choose to be positive, and we can choose to look at the positive. Look at the positive, and there's always something positive, I'm sure. And we can choose to think that the worst won't happen, but sometimes the worst does. Sometimes the worst does happen. And in that moment, being a positive person is not making up an alternate scenario, is not choosing to avoid that. But in the moment, being a positive person is focusing on the good. And I can tell you the only good that I really, really know that will always be good is Jesus Christ, and being with him one day in heaven, and being with God one day in heaven. And maybe you don't believe in God. And if you don't, I'm really, really sorry that you don't, because I feel like you're missing out on the positive that you could have in your life. You're missing out on the good ending and looking forward to something, having that something to believe in. I don't really know how tomorrow will be. I don't know how the end of the week will be. I don't know how the end of this month will be. But I do know how the end of my life will be. And I can be positive about that.